Going to take the horizontal section of the brain. What we will do that we will cut the brain superior to the temporal lobe in this direction, and what we will find will be this. So, we will look the brain in this orientation. So, this is the transverse section. Now, what structures and what nuclei we can see in this section? You can see that this cavity here, this is the lateral ventricle. This is the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle, and this is the posterior horn of the lateral ventricle. This is the cavity of the lateral ventricle. Now, the grey matter which we can see in this section is, first of all, mark out this piece of grey matter. This is thalamus. This is thalamus, and this is the white matter, and lateral to it will be the this piece of grey matter. You can see that it is in the shape of a wedge. This is the lentiform nucleus. This lentiform nucleus is further subdivided into two parts. You can see that this is a bit darker region and this is lighter. This bit darker lateral region is known as putamen, and this lighter region, this one is the globus pallidus. This is putamen and this is globus pallidus. This whole together is the lentiform nucleus. Now, the bundle of white matter, the compact bundle of white matter which is present between the thalamus medially and the lentiform nucleus laterally. This bundle of white matter, this is the internal capsule. Now, this internal capsule has two limbs. One is the posterior limb and other is the anterior limb. The anterior limb is represented here. This is the anterior limb. This is short and the posterior limb is long. So, it is V shaped. In some books you will find that it is written as L shaped because of the unsymmetrical arrangement of the fibers. It is not exactly V shaped, it is L shaped because one limb is short and one is long. So, this is the internal capsule, the compact bundle of white matter. Now, moving backwards, this structure here, this is the splenium of the corpus callosum. You can see it from the medial side. This is the splenium and this is the splenium of the corpus callosum, and from the splenium you can see some fibers of the white matter is going posteriorly towards the occipital lobe. These fibers are known as forceps major. These are forceps major. Earlier I have told you that this is the posterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Posterior horn of the lateral ventricle laterally is bounded by this white matter. This is known as tapetum. This white matter is called tapetum, this one, and lateral to it you will find these white fibers. These are the optic radiations. So, it is the posterior side, and from the anterior side you can notice that this is the genu. This is the genu of the corpus callosum, and from the genu of the corpus callosum you can see some fibers are radiating anteriorly towards the frontal lobe. These fibers are called the forceps minor. Forceps minor. And these fibers here, these are representing the longitudinal fasciculi. The fibers of the these are actually the association fibers which are moving from the frontal lobe towards the occipital lobe. These are the association fibers. So, this is the transverse section of the cerebral cortex.